Hi, I'm Angela Nicholson, Head of Testing for Fuji's photography portfolio, and in this video I'm going to be looking at the Fuji X100s. Like the X100 it replaces, the X100s has an APS-C format sensor inside it. However, it has 16.3 million effective pixels instead of 12.3 million, and Fuji has used the same sensor design as in the X Pro 1. This sensor doesn't have the standard Bayer colour filter, but uses a random arrangement of colour filters within each block of 36 photoreceptors. And this makes the images less prone to suffering from Mori interference. As a result, Fuji has left off the anti-aliasing filter that is normally used to avoid Mori patterning, and this enables the camera to capture sharper details. As it's a so-called compact camera, the 23mm f2 lens on the X100s is fixed, and it gives a 35mm focal length equivalent of 34.5mm, which is a great choice for street and documentary photography. As you can see, the X100s has the same retro design as the X100, and exposure is set using this aperture ring, shutter speed dial and exposure compensation dial. When the dials are both set to A, the camera takes control over the exposure. When just the shutter speed dial is on A, the camera is in aperture priority mode, while shutter priority mode is selected by setting the aperture to A and selecting the shutter speed that you want to use. Fuji has worked on improving its automatic focusing for the X100s, and although there's usually a small but noticeable backwards and forwards adjustment, the hybrid focusing system usually gets the subject sharp pretty quickly. It even copes quite well in low light. The continuous autofocusing is also reasonably fast and smooth, but it's rather hampered by the fact that the AF point is limited to the centre of the frame. The X100s can be set to focus manually via this switch, and there are a couple of new features available to help you get the image sharp. First off, the X100s is the first camera to feature a digital split image, and when this option is selected, the centre of the screen or viewfinder is turned monochrome and divided into bands. When the image in these bands align, the subject is in focus. It's reasonably effective, but it's not always easy to see what's going on. I prefer to use the focus peaking option. When this is active, the focused areas are outlined with white and black. I find this pretty easy to use, but there are times when it would be helpful to be able to choose a different highlight colour. The X100s can record images as RAW or JPEG files or both simultaneously. There's also a collection of 10 film simulation modes that give JPEG images a particular look. Provia, for instance, is the default or standard setting, and it's a good choice for many situations. But there's also Velvia when you want more vivid colours and higher contrast, and Astia for more natural results. Though the film simulation modes can be used when shooting RAW and JPEG images, the advanced filters can only be applied to JPEGs. And it's nice that the camera automatically switches to shooting JPEGs when a filter is selected, so you don't need to delve into the menu to change file format. Like the X100, the X100s has a nice solid build, and although the grips are fairly minimal, it feels reasonably secure in your hand. The control arrangement is also the same as on the X100, but this button is now marked with a Q rather than RAW, and it gives access to the quick menu. This menu provides a quick route to 16 of the most useful features for speedy adjustment. You just navigate to the one you want and select the setting using this dial. Although the direct view optical viewfinder can display key information like the exposure values and AF point, I prefer the electronic finder as it shows images as they will be captured, and it gives a nice clear view with plenty of detail. While the X100s might intimidate novice photographers, enthusiasts will find there's plenty to get excited about, and the exposure controls are a joy to use. Perhaps even more importantly, it's also capable of capturing superb, well-exposed images with lots of sharp detail and pleasant colours. For more information about the Fuji X100s, read our review on techradar.com.